welcome to another video, another tarot reading video. So we are going to go over the general energies for the entire month of January in 2023. Before we actually get started, I just wanted to mention some important dates that will be coming up in January that will kind of influence the overall energy. So first we're going to be having a full moon in Cancer on January 6th, which at the time of this video is only a few days away. So the sign of Cancer is really about motherhood, our emotions, and finding strength within our emotions. So that may be one of the influencing energies at this time. But then later in the month, we'll get a new moon in Aquarius, which is the sign of innovation and creativity and detachment. So those are going to be the two important dates to kind of look out for. But otherwise, let's get into the reading. Okay, hi my lovely Scorpios, so good to see you. I'm so excited to be doing your reading for the month of January for you. We'll be looking over at what's going on in the month. We'll be using the Literary Witches Oracle deck and the Crystal deck first, and then we will be going into your tarot cards. So we'll be doing your most recent past, your present, your future, and then your insights and internal thoughts and feelings. And we'll then be taking one card from the bottom of the deck to form your advice pile, so the advice that universe wants to give you. But yeah, I'm so excited. A lot of people in my family are Scorpios. My sister's a Scorpio and my dad's a Scorpio, so I'm excited to be doing this reading for you guys. And also my first love was a Scorpio, but we're not going to talk about that right now. Anyways, well, what is going on with Scorpio? Actually, feel this card. What is going on for Scorpio in January? Okay. And I'm sorry if you hear slight chewing sounds. I am chewing a piece of gum, so if the sound bothers you, I'm so sorry if my mic picks up on it, but it just kind of helps me concentrate, so I hope you understand. What is going on for Scorpio? Ooh, I feel this one. For January 2023, what is going on with Scorpio? There we go. Okay, so we'll be putting these two oracle cards over to the side for now. We'll get started on using the Tarot of the Divine to do your most recent past. So, what is the most recent past for Scorpio? It is most recent past for Scorpio. Put that over here, and then we'll be using the Kawaii deck for your present. So what is going on in Scorpio's present at the moment? Oh, that guy wanted to really flip out. What's going on present moment. This one. What's going on? Scorpio's present. Oh, definitely that one. Okay. And then we'll be using the Gentle Thrills Tarot for your future. Sorry. Oh, sorry for the noises. My mic just had a little bit of an adjustment. What is going on in your future, Scorpio? This gun. What's going on in your future? What is going on in your future? Okay. And then last but not least, we'll be taking the Rider Waite deck. And oddly enough, I found another card in the Rider Waite deck that's actually from the Kawaii deck. So I am going to take this card, but I'm not going to apply it to the present. I'm actually going to put it to the side and put it in your advice pile. So that'll be an additional piece of advice for you. So that's really odd. Anyways, how is Scorpio feeling at the moment? How is Scorpio feeling at the moment? So this one. Definitely this one, because it was attached to that one. So how is Scorpio feeling at the moment? There we go. Okay. And then I will draw your advice cards from the bottom of the deck in the order that we pulled the cards. So 2, 3, 4. So this will be your advice pile, along with this extra little guy that was randomly a part of this deck. So we'll set that aside. And we'll set your internal feelings aside, because I can only fit so many cards on my desk, so we'll just focus on the past, present, and future. So start with the past. So these are your 3 past cards. So the first is the Wheel of Fortune. Oh, okay. Got a little bit of what the young kids be saying as divine timing. I laugh because I am a young kid technically. And then we have, Temperance. I'm noticing the many hands and the many feet, a lot of limbs going on. So maybe you're juggling a lot of different things right now. And then lastly, we have the High Priestess. Okay. Or you were juggling a lot of things. Alrighty, so we'll get into your present. Our present cards. So first we have the 5 of Swords. Okay. Interesting. And then we have the 8 of Wands. So quick movement. Then you have the Chariot. I'm gonna slide these guys over to fit in your near future cards, which is the 10 of Wands, but it came up in reverse, but we don't read reversals here, so I'll flip it back up. And then you have the Knight of Cups. Interesting. And then last but not least, you have the Princess of Cups. Okay, actually I'm gonna reverse these two. Okay. So from the initial reaction from these cards, it's definitely something more on the emotional side that you're definitely feeling. If we look at your recent past, it seems like you've been balancing and juggling a lot of things going on in your life. So maybe love and relationships, like friendships, work, and any other responsibilities, family. So you're juggling a lot of things, or you have been juggling a lot of things in your past, and somehow maintaining this balance through looking inward and following your intuition as to what seems right in the moment. And maybe that's why you've had so many things going on, because you feel the intuition that this is going to be a good idea, this is going to be a good thing, this is going to be a good relationship, so I need to get started on it now. So you've got so many different projects, so many different things going on because of that. However, this Five of Swords is a little bit jarring in your present, because the Five of Swords represents a victory, but it's a forced victory. It's a victory through beating down your opponents to the point where they can't get back up. This is like a forced victory. It's not necessarily something to be proud of, even though you remain victorious over everyone else. And you can even see the little rat over here crying, because now he can't have a slice of cake, which is kind of sad. So maybe you have almost been forcing your way into something that's successful, so you're making it successful, but you're not necessarily happy about it, or at least you think you're happy, but it's not bringing you full fulfillment. And so what's happening now with the Eight of Wands and the Chariot, it's really fast moving energy that's calling you to continue moving forward. You need to move on from all of these different things that you have been doing, because in your near future you have these burdens. And in the original card, these burdens were envisioned as 10 sticks that are weighing down on this person's back. And I can't help but think back to Temperance in this Wheel of Fortune, that these burdens are just building up on you because you're forcing your way into them being successful, or you think you're doing something successful when in reality it's just being detrimental to your own personal progress. And so you really have to charge forward and face those burdens and realize that just because you're trying to do many things doesn't mean that you're necessarily going to be successful with every venture, every relationship that you choose to have. And sometimes you need to learn through your intuition on whether or not to let it go, or to just take what serves you in the best sense. We're not taking necessarily from someone else, but maybe a friendship didn't quite work out, and that was a lesson for you to learn. And until you face those burdens and recognize them, you won't achieve the emotional fulfillment that you're looking for, represented by the Princess of Cups, which is the Page of Cups, and the Knight of Cups. And once you face those burdens, you'll see an evolution. So the Page of Cups eventually becomes the Knight of Cups. So there's an evolution here from someone who's starting out unsure of their feelings and what they're going to do, into someone who is more balanced in their position of, you know, how they feel towards the things that they're doing and what's bringing them fulfillment. So that's all I feel from the cards at the moment. So I'm going to clear out the space and lay down how you're feeling internally and what advice the universe is giving you. So okay, Scorpio, my little stingers. So I have how you are feeling internally laid out over here. So first we have the moon in reverse. We don't take reversals, so we'll flip it right back around. Then we have the Two of Swords also in reverse, but we'll flip it back. And once again, the Five of Swords. Yep. Definitely very forceful energy here. So at the moment, internally, you're trying to choose. You're trying to choose between what is going to be the next path. And I say this because of the Two of Swords and the moon. You're trying to figure out how you can basically have your cake and eat it too, and that's not necessarily how the world works, as exhibited by this Five of Swords. And you can see that this man who won the battle is very cocky, and he's looking over at the other two people in almost like a condescending manner. And so from what I get here, you're trying to figure out how to be able to get all the things that are beneficial from going down both paths, without actually having to make the choice. But at the end of the day, you have to make a choice. This isn't like I said, you can't have your cake and eat it too. You have to make a choice, and you need to remove this blindfold that you have, thinking that you're better than that. In a way, was the energy that I get off, because the Two of Swords, she has to choose whether or not she stays on the island that she's on or goes to the island that's in the back. Or in another story, she represents, she's the figure within the midst of a duel between two different people. And then on the moon card, you have one path that heads up to one tower that's illuminated brightly with a domestic dog who's willing to guide you there. But then you have another path that's shrouded in darkness with a dark wolf that is guarding the path to the opposite tower. So both paths are not clear, even though the moon, the paths may seem clear, like one path may seem better than the other. That may not be the reality of things, because the moon also really does represent illusions. It's the card of Pisces. So definitely illusions and dreams. So I get the feeling that you are almost deluding yourself, and it needs to stop. You need to, like I said, take off that blindfold and realize the consequences of your own actions. You may be victorious today, but the other day you might fall, or you might have a tower moment. It could entirely be possible. The tower has not shown up at all within your reading so far, but it could eventually happen in the months following. So just be careful about that cockiness. try to maintain balance and release the things that need to be released. So acknowledging that you can't have it all and moving forward is probably your best bet. But let's look at what you have for your advice pile, and you have one more card than the other piles have had so far. So let's have a look. So the first advice card that you have is the 7 of Coins. I'll put that over here. And then the next card that you have is the 7 of Swords. I'll shift this down a little bit just because we have extras. Your third advice card is the Queen of Cups. Okay. So we're seeing another evolution, because previously we had the Page of Cups to the Knight of Cups, and now we have the Queen of Cups. And now we have the 6 of Cups. And last but not least, this little extra card that flew out, we have the 3 of Coins. Okay. So this energy definitely has to do with something about your past. There's something about your past that is lingering, and that's what's affecting you now in the moment. It's kind of obscure. I don't really have an inkling as to what it is. I just know that it affected you deeply and emotionally. And it could have something to do with the 7 of Swords, some kind of trickery, some kind of, it could be a betrayal. It doesn't necessarily have to be, but somebody kind of doing something underhanded to you, that made you feel like you needed to pull out your stinger and sting everybody, and create a boundary around yourself, but that also increased your cockiness. It's like swinging from one side of the emotional spectrum to the other, where you're like too closed off, because the Queen of Cups represents having boundaries. Her cup is covered. This flower is covering her cup. It's protecting her emotions, and she's really careful about who she lets in, and that's what makes the Queen of Cups so powerful, because she essentially takes the power away from others and gives it to herself. But what the cards are telling me is that you're swinging on the extreme direction. You're like not letting anybody in, and you're not opening up yourself to new connections. And that's also where you're having this kind of like almost an ego problem, where you're like trying to preserve yourself for survival, because that's what our mind does. Our mind is our ego, and the purpose of our mind in a historical context was to protect us from the physical danger so that we could survive. But there are many aspects of our mind that are not helpful in the world that we live in now. So kind of taming this cockiness or this aggression, it's almost like it's like a slightly aggressive energy to it as well. And you really need to work on yourself, and you need to work with others. Those are the two things that are standing out with this 7 of Coins. Looking at this fire reminds me of an oven, or I don't know what the proper term it is, but a kindle or something. It's basically like an oven where you cook ceramic objects. So it's like taking the time to work on yourself and turn yourself into something that is better. So I'm thinking that, or I'm thinking like a forge, like a blacksmith forge, for instance. Like when they hammer down on the sword, and temper it. You need to, what's really standing out, especially because we had the card of Temperance earlier, is tempering your emotions, or tempering your focus, or tempering the things that you feel. Because Scorpio is also associated with intensity, just like in general. So you don't want to completely get rid of your intensity. Your intensity is amazing, and that's what makes you you. But you also, there's too much can also be a bad thing. And so through tempering yourself and also working together with others, the Three of Coins is exactly the opposite of the Five of Swords. You see how he's looking down on the other two losers, per se. The Three of Coins is about working together with other people and opening up your heart a little bit more in order to create something new, to work on a project together. So it might be something significant that's going on in your life. Let's take a look at the literary witches that we pulled. So the first literary witches card that we have is the cat. And it's a black cat at that one. And then the second literary witches card that we have is bees, which is kind of interesting when you look at this Three of Coins, because you have three bees, three worker bees, and worker bees work together to make honey to promote the survival of their hive. And in the Three of Coins, you have three people working together to create something. So I think that's a very interesting connection, so I'll leave those two over here. And then we have our crystal decks. So the first one we have is Smoky Quartz, which is to dispel negative energy, home protection, earth connection, and achieving career success. And then the second card that we have is Ruby, which is increased abundance, passion, lucid dreaming, and light of the soul. And sorry if you could hear some background noise, but we will read out the entries for both the cat and the bees and the literary witches oracle guidebook, just to give us some extra insight. So the cat represents the untamed, self-ownership, and watching. And then the bees represents togetherness, work, and treasures. So yeah, work is really standing out here, or maybe just like a project that you're working on together with someone. So when I think of cats and when I think of like black cats, I think of them as like solitary creatures. So it's almost like the exact opposite of that. So through working with others, you will achieve success and you will achieve increased abundance. But this also could be potentially in relationship to love and friendships as well. But yeah, that's all I'm getting from the cards at the moment. Remember to take what resonates and leave what doesn't. Thank you so much for stopping by, Scorpio. Always wonderful to have you here. And yeah, I hope you have a wonderful day.